In this section, we'll continue to populate the other 4 pages, and I'll add a few more hyperlinks in the body of the text, as well as turn this bottle into a link. But one thing that's annoying me right now is the labels on the buttons. I actually think I should put a space in between the numbers and the name. So to do that, I actually have to change the page names. I can't change the labels on this widget because it's actually reflecting what exists on my site. So to change these names, I actually need to change the page names. And I would do that in the master. So let me go back to a master. Or rather, sorry, in the plan view. So I can just highlight these names. Double click it. And I'll just put a space there. And we'll see this change reflected in our persistent menu. So there we go. And if I click away and I go back to, say, the A master, you can see that that is updated inside of the menu. Just to be prudent, let me save. And I guess we'll go back to the home page. I'll close this preview for now. Go back to the home page. And I'll start by turning the beer bottle into a link to beer 1. So I highlight the bottle, make sure that it's highlighted. Very simple, in fact. Just go up to the hyperlinks, pull down to the page that you want to link to. Unless you're going outside of the website, you would type in the whole link. So beer 1 is where I want it to link to. It's as simple as that. And again, I will save, and I'll quickly test that. So I'm in preview, and it does appear to be a button. And I could actually attribute a mouse over state to this graphic as well. I'm just going to leave it, but that is possible too. Click it, and it links to where it's supposed to go. So there we go. I'll close the preview, and I guess I'll carry on here. I'm going to go inside of the text box and maybe just fix some of this formatting. In fact, maybe I'll make the text a little bit bigger. And let's see, how about that? Okay. You'll notice I saved often, because at some point your computer will crash and you don't want to lose any work. Okay, so there's page 1. Maybe we'll just move over to beer 1 and we'll put in some content there. So I'll start by bringing in an image. I will delete this little text box up here that was a placeholder. And we'll go to File, Place, and I have a beer, and I'm looking for the one with 50 on it. There it is there. And I'll just drop that in at actual size. And then we'll create a text box. And these do stack in the order of creation, just so you know. So if I put this text box here, the text would overlap the image. And if I wanted to change that, I could go into Object and move it around up here. So let me go back to my text file here. Your text. I'll copy the second paragraph intended for this page. And it's just filler text talking about lorem ipsum. And we'll paste that in there. And let's see, I'll highlight all of that, and we'll just make it 18, I think. And that should be good to go. Maybe I'll just adjust some of the positions here. There we go. Just save that, and I'll just have a quick look under preview. Okay, so that looks all right for what we're trying to do here. So we'll go back to Design View. And I may intersperse some links on the various pages as we go. For now, we're good. Now, a little trick I can use, because all the other pages, if you'll notice, in my original site, are virtually the same, except that the bottle changes and the content of the text changes. So there's a little trick we can do in here. Let me go back to my page. Is that I can copy these two elements, which I'll highlight both with my shift key down and clicking. I'll copy both those elements. Because I can basically swap images out, which is a really nice feature, especially when all the images are virtually the same size. So let's go to beer page 2, which I happen to have all of them open right now. And the trick here is to paste it in the exact same location on the page. And that's done doing edit, paste in place. Now while I'm on this new page, let me highlight this placeholder graphic and delete it. It was actually text. And I want to replace this with another image. So I highlight the graphic, right click or control click on a Mac. And you can see at the bottom, replace image. And I'll just replace that. And just go back here to Muse content. And let's see, beer 2. I guess I'll take that one. And boom, it gets replaced. Now I will officially replace the text as well. Copy that. It's a little history on filler text if you're curious. Paste that in there and save. So I'll do that on the next 2 pages and we'll have all of our content on all of our pages. So beer 3. I guess I'll get rid of this little guy here. Edit. Go back here. Edit. Well, I guess I need to go and copy that again. Oh, I know why, because I copied text from outside, so I lost this. So I'll just click with my shift key, so the text and the picture are highlighted. Copy that, go to the next page. As soon as my computer catches up, there we go. Paste in place. And I'll replace this with yet another beer bottle. So right click, replace image, and beer 20, IPA. And I'll go to my text file and I'll grab that next body of text. Copy, back to Muse, highlight the text, and replace it. And you notice when I'm replacing it, it is holding the settings or the properties of the text box, which is a nice feature. Again, I'm just going to go Control Command S to save. And I have one more page to populate. So beer 4, select that placeholder, delete it, edit. Oh, once again, I need to go back and copy, highlight, shift click, copy, edit, copy. Page beer 4, edit, paste in place, highlight the graphic, right click, replace image, and I'll choose the red cap for this, and we'll save. So my basic site is done here. I'm going to test it. We'll just test it in the preview for now. Okay. Now I will output it. And if this is your first time outputting, just make a root folder, and that's where it's going to go. Now I've already got one, so I'm just going to add to it. And you can go under Publish. Now you can't see it because it's showing up outside, but there's an Export as HTML here. All of these 3 choices are also available under the File menu right here. So I'll just use this version, Export as HTML. And for now, site URL, I'm just going to call it beer.com. It's just fictitious. I'll just hit my Tab key. And then very importantly, hit my location. And let me see, root lesson 1A was the folder I'd already created. And I'll hit choose. I'll click OK. And it's actually exporting my files. If I go out to the Finder, we'll look for that. Use lessons. Root lesson 1A. there are all my files. And if I double click on it here, I can also test it here. And now, within the browser, we are truly testing it for real. And there we have it. So we've not only just populated our site, we've actually output it as a true website. And again, if I go to my Finder, what does it create? It creates the HTML files, an images folder for my images. And you notice it says 2x, which is an interesting acknowledgement because my site is set up for high definition, which is known as 2 times DPI. It's also got a folder for the cascading style sheets, and you can see here how it works. Each page gets its own cascading style sheet, and the master gets its own, and there is one for the global site. And if you know how to edit CSS, which you do, you could go in here and make some tweaks on your own. And then there's the JavaScript scripts that go in there, which allows for much of the interactivity, and an XML sitemap. So it does a lot of stuff for you on your behalf without having to do any programming. It's a pretty nice feature to have for those that want to just work on design and not get too deep into the programming. In fact, hardly get into any. Let me go back to Muse and just click OK to shut that down. But those are the basics on how to populate and how to ultimately export this as an HTML website.